Hello, welcome to another Tonalist landscape oil painting demonstration. This is your painter in residence, M. Francis McCarthy, and the painting I am bringing you today is called Early Summer. It's a 5x10, and I painted it probably, I want to say November. I'm so far behind. I'm so far behind, and I'm not. Pardon me. I make videotapes of all the paintings I do, and I'm painting all the time. However, the processing and things that go along with it, I have been behind the eight ball ever since I started doing music again a little over a year ago, and I'm just dealing with it. As long as I stay ahead of you guys, that's all that matters, I reckon. But so yeah, I would have normally. Well, I don't know if I would have presented this to you sooner, but I would have had it done sooner and had my pick. There's quite a lot of things I've done that I still have processing to do on, and I have to do all that before I can share them with you. But anyway, this painting, kind of a nice scene. I'm pretty happy with it. It's very tonal, and it's all kind of keyed off of these brown sepia sort of tones. It looks like we might have missed some of the pencil drawing, not pencil drawing, excuse me, the drawing stage. I'm not drawing with a pencil, I'm drawing with a brush, but there's a lot there anyway, so plenty for you to check out and observe. And one thing I might point out, like, I had set out and I knew I was going to do a kind of a sepia tone thing, but you notice the blue maybe has a little bit of raw umber in it in the sky. However, I am keeping kind of an eye towards the second stage of the color process, and that would be to do some glazing, and that will bring the blue right in line with everything else. So even if sometimes if it's quite a bright blue, you can pull that off as long as it's not too dark of a blue. If the color's too dark, you can glaze it all you like and you won't see any results at all. Good thing to keep in mind when you're glazing, when you're thinking that you might want to do some glazing, is to paint a little bit higher in the key, a little lighter than you want the final painting to be, because the glazing will have a darkening effect. Also, it has sort of creates some light absorption potential issues, all depending on where the painting's going to hang and how much light's going to be on it. Just keep in mind that with every layer of glaze that you add, the light has to work a bit harder to get through those layers and then bounce back, which is how light operates. That's about as scientific as I can get with that stuff, since I really don't pay much attention. I mean, I'll pay attention to the point where I understand it, but not so well that perhaps I can teach it. Yeah. You know what I thought I'd talk about today, and this might have been maybe a better topic for a past masters, but I was just looking at my news feed, and an article came up about how great artists copy, and what that means is not that great artists copy the work of their peers. That means that great artists tend to make copies of the work of masters. And if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you'll know that probably at least half the content of this channel is studies I've done after the masters. In fact, the whole reason I started this channel was to basically share those initial 100 days master studies that I'd done. And I have to say, there's no single other thing that I've done that has improved the quality of my work as much as making copies after the paintings of artists that I admire and whose work I would like to get some of that quality of their work into mine. People like George Inness and Charles Warren Eaton and Camille Corot and John Francis Murphy. Those are my top four guys that I absolutely love. But there's a lot of other guys that have things to offer, even people like Charles Appel, who's not even well enough known to be in the book, A History of American Tonalism. I don't think he's mentioned in there at all, but I see a lot of his work. Maybe the author, David A. Cleveland, doesn't like his work, and for that reason he wasn't included. Kind of a big oversight, though, because while Charles Appel has some funky things to his work, his use of color was amazing, and he was a student of Vanessa's. So I got a lot of value after doing studies after Charles Appel because of really the way that he would do complementary things in his skies. And a lot of times, because the colors are muted, you don't even realize that he's doing complementary things. But by complementary, I mean not that they are necessarily go together. A lot of complementary color schemes can go together and work together, but sometimes you can really have a sort of jarring thing going on, like bright green and bright red. You paint something like that, people's eyes are going to go zing, 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 zing. Same with any of the complementaries when they're bright, but when you start getting muted and grayed out, that's a whole nother story. And Appel, for example, is a master of that, and so I like to get some of that in my work. And by that I mean it's not like I actually sit down and start a painting going, yeah, I want to get some Appel kind of feeling into this. Once in a blue moon I might have a thought like that cross my mind, and if it does, it would probably be after someone more like John Francis Murphy, who I feel my work most closely resembles of all the tonalists, and even there I could point out any number of ways where we diverge. And I would never consciously try to emulate another artist with my work. However, when I'm sitting down to do a copy or a study after their painting, I basically sit down and just do that. I basically sit down and mix up my colors that I think are going to work, and I don't try and paint it the way they would. I don't have a clue. I mean, these guys are long dead. We don't have video of them painting. And let's be honest, even though you have video of me painting, I've yet to see anyone who's done a copy after one of my paintings that sent it to me where it's even in the ballpark. It's even close. Generally, they'll get the colors right, but they won't get the approach or the feeling the same. And sometimes what they might do would be very good, but just very different. Doesn't really look like one of my paintings. Just kind of resembles it. I could see the composition and the color was taken from my work, but the way the brush work is done, no. Even the way shadows are handled, no. Very interesting. And so we've got another maybe 4 or 5 minutes here, and we have talked a bit about originality, but this sort of ties into the argument for and against originality in work. And where do I lie on this debate? I have to say that I am of the opinion that there is almost nothing original. You can aspire to be original, but really what you'll end up doing is just engaging in a lot of self-deception, or maybe part of your brain is hiding from another part of your brain, and so you can tell yourself that you didn't see something that influenced you, or that you came up with it all by yourself. That doesn't really, human beings don't operate that way. And there's a lot of stress put on originality, and it puts artists in a bind, because let's face it, most human beings, we're not original. We're always taking things we like from others, whether it's the way we speak, or the way we dress, or the sort of entertainment we like to engage with. Or in the case of art, there's going to be things that affect you and influence you, and you can't help but want to do something similar because it moved you. So that's not a problem. It becomes a problem, though, if in the face of that you're trying to be original. If you're going to be honest with yourself, you're going to have to admit that you're almost never being original in the true meaning of the word. So instead, I like to put the emphasis on the concept of unique. Now, when we're talking about you being unique, either as a human being or as an artist, there's no debate at all. There's no argument. Obviously, you are unique. There will never be another person like you. There never has been. There are people that are sort of similar, you know, but if you dig down, even you don't even have to dig down very deep, you'll see places you diverge all over the place. So much for originality versus uniqueness, right? In fact, the unique qualities that you have will come through in your work. And pardon me, got a little bit of a frog in my throat here. It requires almost no effort, to be honest. The best way to come up with this gets into the idea of style, right? Amateurs are so influenced and affected by style, not realizing that style is a byproduct of, first of all, being a unique human being, and second of all, just doing a lot of work. You do a lot of work, the unique things you do just keep happening over and over, and that is what constitutes a style. Now, I used to be in the business when I was a commercial illustrator. I would be asked to appropriate the styles of artists all the time, and I did it because I was a hired gun, and I wasn't directly copying their work, but let's say they had a way of doing their shadows where there was no gradations, everything was just a straight edge. Well, that's a stylistic element, and I can appropriate that, and I can do something similar, and we're off to the races, you know. So but that is a direct and knowing appropriation of style. And to be honest, if you're talking about fine art, you're never going to produce any fine art with that sort of attitude or approach, that you like someone's style and you want to do something similar. It's okay though to say, like I do, I like tonalism. Pardon me. I want to work in a tonalist style, you know. Okay, well, what are the hallmarks? Slightly fuzzy edges, not a lot of excessive actual delineated detail, a restricted value structure, so you're not using the full range of values from super dark to super light. You're stopping well short of super light usually in tonalism. All of these things are hallmarks of the tonalist style. But if you look at my work, it doesn't look like the work of any other tonalist that's ever been. However, you could say, wow, you know, he kind of feels a little like Murphy, and done a lot of studies after Murphy. I wouldn't mind looking more like Murphy, to be honest. Anyway, that's just a little slice of opinion from your resident painter here. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and you know, give it a like if you like it, and if you don't like it, well, just move on. Anyway, I'll be back this weekend with a past masters study, so until then, please take care and stay out of trouble.